How's it going, everyone? Boy, do we have a good video for you guys, I hope. So, we've been getting a lot of interesting speeches and threats from the United Nations. And as we all know, South Korea and North Korea are technically still at war, along with the United States. Technically, China is involved here. And South Korea came out swinging. South Korea has had enough of North Korea's crap. And I think this is the first time in a long time, I don't want to say history, but in a long time, where South Korea finally said, this time we mean business. If North Korea continues to work with Russia, like, it's game on. Because North Korea has always had the advantage of time. North Korea has been able to just sit there and do nothing and threaten whatever they want. But no one's ever taken North Korea serious. Never has taken them serious. And here's the implication. If South Korea goes to war with North Korea, that means the United States gets involved. That means Japan gets involved. That means China gets involved. The Philippines. That also means Taiwan could get attacked. Russia gets involved. Massive chain of events here. If South Korea goes through with any of this. So let's go ahead and actually see the statement from South Korea and see what they have to say. Because again, their tone is pretty strong here.
북한의 핵과 미사일 프로그램은 대한민국의 평화에 대한 직접적이고도 실존적인 위협일 뿐 아니라 인태 지역과 전 세계의 평화에 대한 중대한 도전입니다.
North Korea is probably the biggest headache for every single person in the Pacific. By far. You have a country who just launches missiles casually. You have a country who has about 6,000 artillery pieces pointed right at South Korea. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
세계 평화의 최종적 수호자여야 할 유엔 안보리 상임이사국이
Sorry, I'm laughing because this is classic UN right here. North Korea, nowhere to be found.
다른 주권 국가를 무력 침공해 전쟁을 일으키고 전쟁 수행에 필요한 무기와 군수품을 안보리 결의를 정면으로 위반하는 정권으로부터 지원받는 현실은 자기 모순적입니다. 이러한 상황에서 안보리의 개혁이 필요하다는 의견이 폭넓은 지지를 받게 되는 것입니다.
The other really interesting part is that Russia is on the UN Security Council. So again, Russia has really been able to almost do whatever they want while being on these councils. And I'm almost positive they're a permanent member. And South Korea is over here like, bro, you guys are breaking the rules.
또 북한이 러시아에 재래식 무기를 지원하는 대가로 WMD 능력 강화에 필요한 정보와 기술을 얻게 된다면 러시아와 북한 군사 거래는 우크라이나뿐만 아니라
We got a celebrity, Preston Stewart.
대한민국의 안보와 평화를 직접적으로 겨냥한 도발이 될 것입니다.
All right. Now there's a lot of pressure here if Preston's here. Kidding. So as we all know, North Korea and Russia working together. Okay. Now, the implications of this is we don't necessarily know what they did or did not talk about other than mostly media speculation. We can assume that the fact that North Korea is willing to take their bulletproof train all the way to Russia, that Russia is just going to give them the same spiel and deal like everyone else. Russia is going to help you with technology. Russia is going to help you with advancements in your weapons. And if there's one thing that Russia needs, especially in the near future, is some sort of stockpile of weapons. I saw some military analysts say that Russia can produce 1 million rounds of artillery a year, about. Meanwhile, we don't know how much North Korea has, but what we do know is that North Korea has a lot of Soviet-era stockpiled equipment, which is another key factor to all of this. It's a double-edged sword. Soviet-era equipment usually implies bad, but in this case, this is great for Russia because they're already using Soviet-era equipment, so they don't have to retrain, and they're just getting it straight from North Korea. And so because of this, of course, South Korea ain't having it. Now, the implications as well is a... what's the word I want to say? A chain effect, a domino effect, if you will. If South Korea instigates anything with North Korea, Japan essentially has no choice but to join. The United States has to join. These are all nations who work together to protect the Pacific, or to at least try to counter North Korea and to counter China. Now, the thing is this. South Korea and Japan are not necessarily the greatest of friends. For those of you who are unaware, Japan has had a very dirty past and history with South Korea, and in these cultures and regions, they don't forget. So, someone says, nothing is absolute. Right, that is true. Nothing is absolute. But what is absolute for sure is that these countries do have to support one another, because if South Korea goes in on North Korea, it's not only going to be North Korea, they're going to be dealing with a population within North Korea, they're going to be dealing with China, and this also opens up the door of opportunity for Japan to finally, I don't want to say get revenge, but Japan always seems to be the puppet to North Korea. Whenever missiles are launched or there's a test, it's always in the direction of Japan. And Japan, I think, has been sort of ready for a fight for a while now. A very big misconception about Japan is that they have a policy of they can only defend themselves. After World War II, the United States implemented a law with their country saying no more going on the attack. You have to settle disputes with peace talks. But this is actually not true. There's a new policy for Japan. I think it's called Article 9. Where Japan, if threatened and justified by their government, they can go and attack if they want. This is the strategy for Taiwan, and this actually came into play because of Taiwan. But as far as North Korea, again, this opens up the door for Japan to work with South Korea. And of course, the United States is already in South Korea, so we would get drawn in regardless. Somebody said, what does this mean for the U.S.? The United States and the ROC Army have been allies for a very long time, obviously since the Korean War. South Korea has always had the United States' back. South Korea even sent a contingent force to Vietnam. Many people don't realize that. And so without a doubt, there's going to be this expectation for South Korea to have American soldiers fighting on their behalf. Again, the DMZ is also protected by U.S. soldiers. And not that this is even that big of a deal for anyone, but... there is an American soldier in North Korea right now, Travis Gang. So he wrote, South Korea is so weak and that they pee themselves when they see 556. Great comment. Now, another massive wild card is Taiwan. If South Korea instigates anything with North Korea, we can only assume that China will then have an open door for Taiwan, because that's going to take all time and effort to try dealing with North Korea. North Korea is going to be probably one of the biggest headaches in all of human history. More so than Afghanistan, more so than Iraq by far. Because even if the North Koreans have not a good military, zero combat experience with terrible equipment, their population is essentially brainwashed, if you will. And I hate to use that word, but it's true. They only know what they know. And in North Korea, what they think they know is that everyone around them wants to get them. South Korea bad, United States bad. And I don't think it's possible for South Korea in any way, shape, or form to figure out how they're going to tame this. The only saving grace is that they do have a common culture. There are ties there. There's blood-related ties. But other than that, it's going to be a very bad deal for everyone involved. But as far as Taiwan, again, all resources and efforts will be South Korea focusing on North Korea along with the United States, resources pulled from Japan. That opens the door for China to go into Taiwan. So who knows, maybe China's wanting this to happen, maybe not, but it's all speculations. And as you go further down the line, you have the Philippines now who's going to get drawn in as well, because the Philippines too are also on this weird defensive campaign with the Chinese of China just building islands, right on Filipino territory, China provoking the Philippines, and you can even go further down the Pacific and go all the way down to Australia. So this would really instigate a massive, massive issue if South Korea actually goes through and decides to mess with North Korea. Now, in all honesty, whenever people speak at the UN, this is the global stage to make themselves look way bigger and badder than they are. Like Zelensky, he spoke on the global stage for the first time. He actually had a really great speech. Russia walked out on him. And so, again, maybe it's just South Korea showing that, or the South Korean leaders saying, hey, look at us. We're strong. We're here to fight. Don't mess with us. But at the end of the day, the ones really doing the actions here is North Korea and Russia. North Korea took the steps to go work with Russia, and Russia has taken the steps to accept them. Now, there was a lot of speculation as well that China actually hates this relationship between Russia and North Korea, because North Korea really is the puppet to China. Without China, North Korea is nothing. The only relationship North Korea and Russia have is that there is an economic plan where North Koreans can actually work in Russia and get some of the resources from Russia, like wood, coal, stuff like that. Other than that, China really runs the game when it comes to North Korean policy. So people speculated that now that Russia's involved, this will allow North Korea to gain a little more leverage over China, but that's not going to happen. China controls the region, and arguably China even controls a lot of Russian policy. So yeah, that's currently what's going on right now. South Korea throwing them threats out there. I don't think anything's going to happen because, again, you have the biggest domino effect in history if South Korea does anything. Pulling the United States, pulling Japan, Philippines, everyone. Not good. Not a good thing. So, yeah, that's what's going on right now. And, all right, I'm going to post this live stream. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys want to go back and watch the live stream, go check out the posted video. All right. See y'all later. Much love.